It's a high ball fade with a 2 on top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the bottom. So I'm gonna start at the bottom. I'm not gonna cut everything off of the bottom because all that's gonna do is just take more time away from my haircut. So I'm gonna start. I'm sponsored by Stylecraft. I don't know if y'all use Stylecraft or Gamma. It's the same company. So all my tools that I use are all Stylecraft. So I'm gonna start with my Rebels all the way closed. He's gonna start above the ear, and I'm only gonna. He likes it high, so I'm gonna go up pretty high. And I'm not worried about having a sharp guideline because I don't want to have to fight myself to pick lines out. So now I've got him evenly faded or evenly lined all the way around. I just want to make sure that I don't want to make it sharp. I just want to make sure that it's about as straight and as even as I can get it around his head. Look pretty even, yo. All right, so what I'm gonna do now, I got about 1 inch to 1.25 inches until I hit where, I got about 1 inch, 1.25 inches until I hit about where his hairline is. So where his natural hairline is about right here. So I got this much room to fade into that line. So I'm gonna open these all the way up and I'm gonna go up 3/4 inch to 1 inch. So right here where his hair, you can see where his hair comes down to where his hair splits to go up. So I'm gonna go as close to this as possible without going over that line. Same thing, I'm not gonna try to make it, I don't want the line to be real stern. I want it to be loose. That way I have room to fade. So now that I got that, I got just this area right here that I need to blend in. Once I blend into this area, I'll be going up here to where my blade is all the way open. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close my clipper and I'm gonna go to the first notch. Now all I'm gonna do is, with a flicking motion, I'm gonna flick out the bottom of that line. I'm not gonna touch the level to where it's gonna go up higher into the hair. All I wanna do is touch this bottom line. And it's only gonna be 2 parts to get that line out. So I'm gonna start with my first notch from the bottom. So now that I got that, I'm gonna jump up 1 more notch, and I'm gonna all I'm gonna do is bring my clipper straight up. I'm not gonna curl it out. I'm not gonna dig in with the blade. I'm gonna put my blade flat on the side of his head, and I'm gonna go straight up with it. What I want, the way his hair is, I want a high top motion with his hair until I start to do the top and fade into the top to give it that roundness over the top of the head. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go my second notch from the close, and I'm gonna just go straight up. Now y'all can see there's still kind of a darkness of a line right underneath where that dark hair is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skip the next level on here, and I'm gonna go straight to the 0. But I'm gonna go with the 0 all the way open. Same thing, I'm gonna go 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch above that. Same situation, I'm just gonna go straight up. I don't wanna dig into the hair, and I don't wanna dig into his head with the blade. Plus I want a smooth fade transition when I go in. So now that I got that, I'm gonna close this all the way. Same steps that I did before I put the guard on. Just gonna take this bottom line out. Just because it's bothering me and it's taking my focus away from the fade. I'm gonna take my sabers, my trimmers, completely zero gap, and I'm just gonna go ahead and knock this line out, all this bulk out. That way it's just not in my way.
Coming up and stopping, looking out. That way you ain't creating that line with the measures.
Yeah, everything that your trimmer is going to be your best friend, especially if you're doing anything with ball, because you'll be able everything that you do, you're going to be doing with different angles. Whether you're going with the corner, whether you go straight in, whether you come down with it with the blade against the skin, whatever you do, you're going to create some sort of line. And so I go straight all the way with the blade in the skin, and I'll flick out at the top motion. That's why there's no line here. See, and like I said, you can go in any motion you want to go. As long as you do what you have to do, as long as you do what you were supposed to do with that fade when you started the process, it'll clean right out. You ain't got to fight with it. You ain't got to mess with it. It's not going to cut into your haircut time or your later appointment. Back to my Rebel, and I'm gonna go with the one, and I'm gonna do the same exact. So if you've been seeing what I've been doing, everything that I'm doing is the exact same. Doesn't matter what I'm using, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, everything's the exact same. I go all the way open, all the way closed, first notch, second notch. I go into the zero guard, all the way open, closed, first notch, second notch. Now I'm at the one. I'm going all the way open. I'm gonna go up into the top now, and I'm gonna try to round the crown. But I'm also still gonna kind of try to keep that straight look to where it's kind of looks more like a flat top until I start to mess with the top of his head. So now that I got that, you can see where it's blended, but you can still see where that guideline is. So what I'm gonna do, like I said before, I'm gonna repeat the same system. So I'm gonna go all the way closed now. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in the same way like this, and I'm just gonna go in and tap that bottom line. And I'm just going to my zero right now just to kind of overlap what I just did with the one. Because what that's going to do is that's going to catch any stragglers or any loose hairs that didn't get cut when I went through it with the one. And so that's going to create that nice fade and the straight up transition from the side of the head. Your cleanup and your polish work should just be a combination of everything that you did to achieve what you already achieved with the haircut. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna jump over to my two, because that's what he likes on top. And I'm just gonna go all the way open, and I'm just gonna hit him on the top with the two. Make sure that you go all angles for the cowlicks. Make sure that you hit everything, that way it's not hair hanging out. Alright, so now that I'm here at this point, now that I'm at this point, so I got the two up top, we got the fade mostly done on the side. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna jump to the 1.5 and I'm gonna work backwards. So now I'm gonna start up here and I'm gonna bring the fade down from the side. That way I don't have nothing, there's no reason at all why I should have any kind of line or there shouldn't be no visible transition of anything there. So I'm gonna take my 1.5 and I'm gonna go open, but I'm gonna go, so you can see the curvature of his hair right here, where his head starts to curve at the top of the crown. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go in like this and come in. That way what that does, and I'm not, you see how I'm not, if you can see, I'm not rounding his head. All I'm doing is going up in a slide motion. That's all I'm doing. I don't wanna take no bulk off the top of his head. I don't wanna cut into what I've already done. All I wanna do is create a smooth transition from the top down. So all I'm doing is going in a slide motion straight up. Now I'm gonna go back with it closed all the way. Same process, same system that I was working from the beginning. Now, just to be on the safe side, like I said, when I'm working backwards, so I'm going from my 1.5 to my 1. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the same system, but do it backwards. So now I'm gonna go all the way open instead of going closed. Same situation, I'm gonna start from above and come down. So I'm gonna go just a little lower, but I'm also gonna keep that same slide motion. I'm not trying to dig into no hair, I'm not trying to make no dents, because I ain't got time to fix nothing. So I'm just gonna continue to keep going in that slide motion. And as you're doing that, as you're coming back down, make sure that you're doing your polish work. So if you see any lines, any dark spots, anything like that that needs to be blended out, give your little extra attention to it while you're doing this, because then you don't have to cut into your haircut time. So now I'm going to take my sabers. Now, he's got a little bit of a staggered hairline. He has a lot of overgrowth and it grows crooked, so we have to alter his hairline. We don't push it back. We just alter it enough to make sure that it's going to be straight. So what I do is, here, I'll do it in alternative. Okay, so as you can see right here on his head, so see where you can see where his actual hair, his natural hairline is. Okay, so I'm going to use this right here as my guideline. You see what I'm saying? You guys see that? Okay. So you can see right here where his natural hairline falls. So that's where I want his line to start at. And then if you're doing your work right, you use your next strip cheat code right there. That's his hairline. Can't get crispier than that, and it ain't gonna be nothing. It ain't gonna be nothing off the natural. That's a cheat code y'all can use. That way nobody can make fun of you on your hairlines and say you pushing back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go right there off that dark line where my guideline would be at, and I'm just gonna tap that line until I have it where I want it. I haven't pushed him back, and I haven't touched any of the past growth. All that's new growth. So what I'm gonna do now, like I said, I can see where that line is where I had that neck strip. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just tap him there on that line just so I can get my guideline right. Just like that. That's gonna have your line crispy as can be. It ain't gonna be crooked, it ain't gonna be out of pace, it ain't gonna be, nobody can come to you and say that you pushed them back. That's their natural hairline. And I can do that all the way across just from looking at it because I can see where his aftergrowth is. Now, as far as your curve goes or your C cup, on him, he don't really have one because he likes a high ball fade. I can give him one, like I can give him the point of one to start, but with him having a high ball fade, it does him no good. And I'm gonna come back with my balder and we're gonna bald him out too. So all that's gonna do is that's just creating extra work for me. Now we would definitely line you up on the curve. You know what I mean? Him definitely. You know what I'm saying? The higher the fade, the more work that you have to do to stretch out that fade, the less detail you're gonna wanna be on the curve. Because all you want when it's a high ball fade like this, all your focus is right here. That's what people look at right there. Nobody looks at what the fade, nobody how you turn around, you twirl for me. You know what I mean? Nobody does that. They're gonna look right here at you. That's gonna tell them everything they need to know as far as your barber. So same thing on this side. You can see right here where his growth is. I'll do it one more time for y'all. So you can see where his growth is. Right there. Same thing with the side. We can see where his line is here. Right there. And you can use a pencil to line it if you want to use a pencil. You know what I mean? Anything you can do to make sure that you're getting the line right, because you definitely don't want to push somebody back. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue going down that same guideline. Now we got that out the way. We got 2 more steps and we're in the clear. So with him, because he has what we call a goose egg back here, or a hot dog, or whatever you want to call it. Since he's got one of those, I'm not gonna go high up balding on him. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start here, take the sideburns off, and I'm gonna go about halfway into the curve. Once I get into that curve, I'm gonna turn my balders around with the top foil. I'm gonna come in against it coming down. What that's gonna do is create that fade right there, create the transition that we want. And then what I'm gonna do is the same thing. So I'm just gonna go around the bottom like you normally would with your trimmer or your clipper when you start in the fade. Because all we wanna do is highlight those spots of his head. So same situation, I'm gonna go up here with the top foil, and I'm just gonna bring that down. I'm just repeating the process, going against the grain, and then going with the grain. Now that we got him balled out, I'm gonna go ahead and just hit him with the razor real quick just to polish him up. Whenever you're using your razor, always make sure that you stretch the skin, because you don't want to cut them. Now see what I do with his curve, what I was talking about, that C-cup. So this is where I do my C-cup on him. All I do is just tap the side, the corner right there. That's all I want to do. That's it. Same thing with this side. Make sure you stretch your skin. Only, and a little word for the wise, only cut to where your hairline is. Because if you use the razor and you cut past that, as soon as you let go of his skin, he's about to have an S on the side of his head. I know it sounds funny, but when you start to do that and you nick a part of it and then you let off of that skin and it loosens back up, he's gonna have a zigzag down the side of his head. And that's definitely what you don't want. Because then all you can do at that point is push it back further. And you don't wanna do that. Because once, a week later, once he starts to get overgrowth, you're about to be the talk of the town. Nobody's coming to you. So with the top, same situation. I'm just gonna lean him back a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull the skin down towards his eyes to stretch that skin. What's up, man? What's going on, bro?
I'm gonna move something on.
And then this is the last thing I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take my Rebels. I'm gonna take my Rebels all the way closed, and I'm gonna take my comb. I like these combs. People like to use tapered combs, tail combs. I like these. I just like them because if I'm fading on the side of the head, this is just me personally. So don't say that this is a fact, because this ain't. It might not be for everybody. I can use these combs when I do a ball fade of any kind. Doesn't matter if it's a low ball fade, high ball fade, tapers, whatever the case may be. This right here is all I need to do that haircut. I don't need 5 pairs of clippers. I don't need 12 pairs of trimmers. I don't need shears or thinning shears, or I don't need any of that. I need these right here. This is it. This is all. I can do any haircut that you want me to do with just this. So what I like to do is, and just so you know, the width of this comb right here, this comb will fade all the way open clipper to a 0. And it'll also fade a 1 to a 1.5 close. Now I don't know if you guys are at that point yet in your education here, but that cuts out all this. Y'all don't have these no more. You have to think of how much time when you're in the barber shop. When I'm on the road and I'm working with Roman Reigns, I can't sit there all day and keep changing guards. You know what I'm saying? All he wants, he got long hair, so all he wants is a taper here and a taper in the back in line. That's it. You know what I mean? There's no reason why he should be sitting in my chair in 20 minutes. Period. He should have been long gone in the shower taking pictures on TV. You know what I mean? There should be no reason at all why he's still sitting here. Our goal as barbers is to create as much business and financial stability as possible for ourselves. We work for ourselves. We don't work for anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So that is our goal. Now, if you're sitting there taking an hour and a half on every haircut that you do, no matter what it is, you're cutting into your financial stability. Now, the faster that you make your haircut, the easier that you make your haircut, is going to make your job and your life so much easier. And I learned that from Jason Cook. Shout out to Jason Cook. That was my instructor when I was here with Jason. That was the only instructor I had when I was here with Jason. So shout out to Jason. Thank you, Jason.
I like to say too, the comb is your guard. That's why you don't need
Yeah, your comb is your guard all the way. So what I do is, so in this situation, so a lot of you guys will probably say he don't need nothing else. In my eyes, he's not done yet. Because all this darkness up here, my transition is not complete, in my opinion. Now, if I sit here and say, okay, man, hey, you done? And I kick him out the chair and he's gone like that, and 15 minutes later he texts me and he's not happy with this, one of two things. Either I just screwed myself as far as business, because he's getting ready to go let everybody know who cut him. And as soon as people start to find out that I'm the one that cut him, my name is now in the mud. And I have to build back from that, which means I'm gonna have to work 3-4 times harder than I did gaining this client to begin with. So what I'm gonna do is, all I want is just this darkness right here. This is fine, this is fine. All I want is this darkness right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my comb and I'm gonna go straight into the hair. I'm gonna go into the hair at an angle. So I'm not gonna go straight up against the side of his head. I'm gonna take the teeth of my comb and I'm gonna come at an angle towards his head. With my rebel all the way closed, I'm not, now pay attention, I'm not gonna go and take my clipper all the way up the comb. I'm not gonna do that. All I wanna do is lightly tap the hairs that's there. This is called detail work. Don't rush through this. This is the part of the haircut that's either gonna make you or break you. It's just the little simple things. Like I said, all I wanna do, I wanna go in at an angle and I just wanna tap those loose hairs. That's all I wanna do. Now you may have to alter your comb position because, as you can see with him, he's got scars and stuff in his head, which causes dents in his skin. So there's parts where I'm gonna have to turn my comb a certain way or go in with the corner of my blade. Those are all things that you're gonna have to figure out what's comfortable for y'all, what's gonna be in your comfortability. Now, even though he's not black, he doesn't have coarse curly hair, I'm still gonna take, so he has a 2 on top. I'm still gonna take my 1.5 close, and I'm just gonna go with the grain over the top of his head. Can y'all hear that buzzing? That means that means there's still stuff up there. I just want to make sure that his hair is as even and as clean as possible. They might only be getting 3 or 4 hairs over the whole top of his head, but that's 3 or 4 hairs that I'm really worried about. Because a lot of people will only, you'll see a lot of people only do this with black, coarse African hair. You ain't gotta, it's for everything.
What's your client's name?
And on an everyday, this is a 10-minute haircut for me. So if you learn